Hi everyone, this is Selva from Machine Learning Plus, and we are doing a series on building your very first machine learning model. So what we have done so far is we have set up the Python environment for machine learning, and we also saw how to work with Jupyter Notebook. So by now you should have everything set up for you to get hands-on with writing Python code and basically running your Python code for various machine learning operations. Alright, so with that in context, let's get started with this one. In this one, we will understand the ML modeling. What is ML modeling? We will understand the problem statement that we are going to be dealing with. We will also understand the data set that we are going to be using for this particular problem statement. So we will set everything up. We will import the data, we will import the packages and have a high level or overall understanding of what is the problem that we are dealing with. So first of all, let's answer what is ML modeling. Alright, so what is ML, machine learning modeling? ML modeling. Now, this is the step where we will set up the data, where we will set up, when I say data, it consists of the predictors which we will call as X variables, and so X for predictors. We will use the predictors to predict the Y, which is also called as the target variable, or also called as the response variable. All right. So we will set this up during the modeling process. An ML algorithm, we will come to what algorithms we will be using later on, but there will be an ML algorithm, typically like linear regression, logistic regression, XGBoost, gradient boosting. So many choices of algorithm is present. It doesn't matter at this point what we are going to use, but there will be an ML algorithm that will learn from this data using the X variable and the Y variables. All right, it will learn from this. After it has learned this relationship between the X and the Y, after it has learned the relationship, if you give only the X data to the model, it will be able to predict the Y. All right. This process is the primary or the core part of ML modeling. There are certain associated processes that goes along with it, such as missing value treatment, outlier treatment, and all these things. We will learn all those steps in this as we are going through the next set of videos. But the primary core part of ML modeling is this learning process by the machine learning algorithm to understand this relationship between X and Y, this relationship between X and Y, so that when you give only the X data, it should be able to tell us what should be the value of Y. All right. Now, with this framework, there are so many numerous use cases that are possible. Now, for this particular problem, this ML project that we are going to be built with, for this project, we are going to be dealing with a problem called churn modeling. This is a very popular use cases for all companies or all businesses that has customers. So businesses naturally have a lot of customers who are buying from them. They also want to know who are the customers who amongst their existing base of customers are going to leave or stop buying from the company. All right. Predicting who are the customers who are at the risk of churn or attriting, this is called churn modeling, also called as attrition modeling. All right. Predicting the probability of a given person, in the data, we will come to the data, probability that a given person is going to attrite, where if the person is going to attrite, it means the value of Y equal to 1, otherwise it will be 0. We will come to the details of this later on, don't worry about this formula. So given the data, what is the probability that a given person is going to attrite? That is what we want to predict in this use case. All right. Let's not dive too much into the bad mathematics right now. We will come back to that later. Now, to solve this problem, we are going to be dealing with a data set of a bank, a financial institution, who the bank wants to know who amongst the existing customers are going to churn. All right. So we have a data set. The link to this data set is here. All right. So this is a GitHub repository. It shows in the bottom right. raw.githubusercontent.com selva86 datasets churn_modeling.csv. So that is the location of this dataset. I will leave a link to this dataset in the description. You can go there and get this dataset yourself. Now, what we want to do here, in this dataset, there exists a column called exited. We want to predict this particular column, this particular feature or a target variable that is present in this particular dataset. So we want to predict exited based on several other factors or features present in the dataset, such as the credit score, age, tenure, balance, is an active member or so. All right. At the bottom of this, I think we have a view of the actual data set itself. This is how it looks like. So here you can see on the extreme right, we have this exited column. Alright, this is what we want to predict. We want to predict this based on all the other information present in the data set, including the surname, credit score, geography, gender, age, tenure. Tenure means how long the person has been with the organization, been a customer basically. What's the bank balance, number of products, has a credit card or not, is an active member or not, and the estimated salary. Alright. This data can contain some amount of information that will be helpful for us to understand, for the model to understand if a given person is going to attrite or not, or exit or not. Alright. If the value is 1, it means that particular person has exited. So I'm not sure if this part appears on the screen. So the value here is 1, 0, 1, 0, 0. Alright. So these are the values of exited column. We want to predict this. Alright. We are going to use ML. Alright. We are going to feed in this data. This is the x variables, the x data here. We are going to feed in x and the y as well. Alright, the ML will learn from this data set, and once the learning is done, this learning process is called training, by the way, right? The machine learning model gets trained. After the training is done, we will give only the x, that is till this data point, till estimated salary. We will give only these data points and ask the model to predict what's the value of the exited column. This is what we are going to do. Alright, so we have seen a snapshot of the data. Let me clear this so this is clear. Let's go back here, few steps. So we have seen the description of the data. Let's start installing the ML packages. When we are doing the machine learning modeling, there will be certain packages that will be required. Let's start by installing them. Alright, now we are going to additionally, so we are going to be installing XGBoost, LightGBM and Imbalanced Learn. I don't know yet if these will be used later on, but I'm going to install these packages anyway. Alright, to install this, if you are using Jupyter Notebook, you can run these commands and this will get these packages installed. Alright, if you are running this directly in if you are running this directly in the terminal, you might want to drop this part, the exclamation mark in the beginning, and run only this part of the command, and that will get the XGBoost and LightGBM installed. Alright, so once that is done, you can go ahead and directly import these notebooks. Let me zoom in a little bit more. Alright, so here we are importing a number of packages, NumPy, Pandas, and from Pandas we are importing the data frame. And from Pandas we are importing the Pandas data frame. Alright. For data visualization, we are going to be using Seaborn and Matplotlib, matplotlib.pyplot. We are importing it as PLT. Alright. Then for machine learning, we are going to be using scikit-learn modules. From scikit-learn pre-processing, we are importing label encoder, standard encoder, and all these things. We are importing all these in advance. These will be used later on. Then setting some options for Pandas, how Pandas should display the data frames. Alright, so we are setting the maximum number of rows it can display to 800 and maximum number of columns to 500. Standard settings, nothing fancy, just to make sure that Pandas shows the entire data frame within your Jupyter Notebook. Alright, so once that is done, assuming you have stored this data set. So in this, there are two versions of this data set that we will be using during the videos for explanation purposes. The main data set is churn modeling _m.csv. Underscore m stands for some missing values. The underscore m version contains some missing values. There will also be a version that does not contain missing values, which is churn underscore modeling.csv. So we are going to be using the version that contains the missing values so that we can go through and understand the missing data imputation part also. Alright. So once you have downloaded this data set, I will leave a link to this also so that you can download this. Now once you download it, you can read it using pd for pandas, then read underscore csv. This is a pd for pandas, read underscore csv, pass in the name of the data set, make sure this data is present in the same directory that contains this Jupyter Notebook. Alright, only then this will work. Otherwise, you can give the full path to whichever place you have stored this data to. And on reading this, you can see first 5 rows, df.head will give you the first 5 rows of the data set. And if you quickly examine this, this contains You check the df.shape, it contains 10,000 rows and 14 columns. Then we can also see the data types of the different columns. Here we will in the next video we will see how to optimize this data frame further. Right now it is occupying a lot of space. It is including int 64. It is storing the customer ID as int 64, row number as int 64, and so on and so forth. So this data is available, and currently it's using 1.1 MB of space when you are storing it in disk. We will come back to optimizing this data frame later on. Now once this is done, we quickly describe the data using df.describe, a very standard step that you will do for almost any data frame that you are going to be installing or importing. Now if you look at this, what I will typically look for here is the number of missing values is shown here. So in credit score there seems to be one missing value. In age column there seems to be 40 missing values. In balance there are few lesser than 40 missing values, so on and so forth. Okay, so there are missing values in this data. Also the minimum and the maximum values. Here the maximum value of the age is 92, the minimum is 18. Right, so we get a sense of what kind of people have their accounts in the bank. Then we also get a sense of the range of the credit score, 350 to 850. Alright, with a median somewhere lying here. 652 seems to be the median. So this is where most of the data lies, around this point. Alright, then we have tenure. Maximum tenure seems to be 10 years. Then this seems to be the highest balance, 250,000. Alright, so once you import the dataset, you need to get a sense of what kind of values are present in the different features of the dataset, so that you know what you are dealing with, right, underneath, right? So we have this field now, we understand what the data contains now. Let's get a more detailed summarization that you can get using the data tile package, a very nice package. This used to be called as Panda summary package. Now that has been renamed to data tile. Alright, so to install this, you do pip install data tile. Then after installing this, I am importing from datatile.summary.df. From this I am importing data frame summary, right? Then putting the data frame to data frame summary. So we have created a DFS object here. If you look at the column types, it will show how many numeric and how many Boolean and categorical variables. Good. Then we can look at more column stats. Now this tells us directly what we want. What is the total count? What is the total number of unique values? Good. Alright, total number of unique values is 460 for credit score, 3 unique values for geography, and so on. How many missing values? What is the percentage of missing values in each column, and what is the type of that particular column? Every other feature. This is useful information. I want to know this. So we have this information. Now if you want to drill down even further in more detailed stats about a specific column, just call that specific column name using DFS, under DFS. Alright, if you call that, so for example, if you do it for credit score, it tells us, in addition to the mean and the different percentiles, it tells us the variance, standard deviation, the interquartile range, kurtosis, skewness. This tells the shape of the normal distribution. Alright. Then we have mean absolute deviation from the mean. Alright. Then we have CV, I think is covariance, coefficient of variation. This is synonym to standard deviation. Coefficient of variation is nothing but standard deviation divided by mean. Alright. Standard deviation can, depending on the scale of the variable, standard deviation, you always have to compare it to the mean to get a sense of how deviated or how much variance exists in the data. Right? That's what standard deviation does. But just by looking at the raw value of standard deviation, we can't make out much. Only in comparison to the mean, we will know how much of the deviation or how much the data is spread. That can be quantified as a percentage of the mean, using not exactly percentage, a proportion of the mean, by dividing the standard deviation by the mean. That is coefficient of variation. Very useful for comparison purposes. Number of zeros percentage, deviating of mean. So these kind of useful metrics is also present here. Alright. So very good. You can look at more of this for all the other columns in the dataset also. Very good, very useful. You will get a more deeper sense of understanding of that particular, each and every column present in the data. Once that is done, let's quickly modularize it for future videos and future lessons sake. Here I'm calling the input file name, target class is exited. Drop columns, I'll specify what all columns is not needed. I don't need the customer ID, it doesn't really contribute to any useful data inside it, usually. All right. Then we are also like input data type selection. We are keeping it as auto. We'll come to this later. Then input categorical columns. What are the categorical columns present in the data? What are the numeric columns? What type of label encoding that we want to go for? We will look at this later on in more detail in a future session. Then how to handle the missing values. Right now we are setting it as drop. We will see more advanced versions of methods of imputing missing values also. What is the machine learning algorithm? Right now is chosen as random forest classifier. Again, we will be exploring other algorithms as well. All right. So this concludes how to set up your data set for machine learning modeling. And now you should have a sense of what is the problem that we are trying to solve. All right. See you in the next one.